Hey, this is Chris, and I am checking dice. I appreciate you watching this video, and if you happened to be watching these in order somehow, there's quite a gap. Man, it feels like it's been a long time. I don't even know exactly how long it's been, but it's been a minute. I had an old MacBook that I was using for making videos, and it just got so old that the software wouldn't work anymore, and I needed to update, and I finally updated. So here I am on a new setup, and it took me a little bit to get everything configured. But I've got something I've been thinking about, and I want to talk about it just briefly, and then I've got a rollout I'm going to do to kind of illustrate my point and see if it makes any sense. But I'll illustrate one example of what I'm thinking. But I think that we teach the game of craps wrong. And listen, I'm not here to discount the way that craps has been taught for a long, long, long time, but it's just a thought I've been playing around with in my mind, and it's something that I get frustrated every time I talk to people who are new to the game or even experienced players. That I just think that maybe there's a different approach that we should be thinking about when it comes to teaching the game of craps. And so this thought's been kicking around in my head for a while, and since I finally got the equipment set up to be able to make a new video, I thought I'd just start here. And here it is simply. If you were to walk into a casino and you were to ask them how to play the game of craps, do you suspect that they would tell you the best way to play for you to win money? Or would they tell you the best way to play for them to win money? In a general sense, what's the house going to tell you if you are learning the game of craps? Are they going to teach you the correct way to think about the game? More than likely, and I've seen this happen, I've seen people walk up to tables many times who act like they don't know what they're doing. And what does the casino tell them? Well, just start with a pass line bet. Just put a pass line down. You win on the come out 7 or 11. You lose on a 2, 3, or 12. But you get a point established, and then when you turn that puck on and it goes to a point, now you want to hit that number again before you roll the 7. And they'll tell you, put max odds behind the line. That's a free bet, free odds. You don't, you get paid true odds, and it's the best bet in the house. That's what they'll tell you. And while that's technically true, I just wonder if there's not a better way for a beginner to think about the game of craps. So what if instead of telling you that the best way to play is to play the pass line, which puts the house at a major advantage, except on the come out roll? What if they told you that there was a better way to play, and that is to start by learning the don't pass, not the pass line, but think about it from a pure likelihood of the outcome, not just on that one roll, but on the likely outcome of the decision that's made on whether you're going to roll that point or you're going to roll a 7. And we all know there's more ways to roll a 7 than there is to roll any other number. And so if I were to sit here today, and I'm just going to grab a couple dice. Let's just throw those dice down. I got a yo. Now, a yo would win on the pass line and lose on the don't pass. But my point is that we need to get a point established. And at that point, now there's aces. That wins on the don't pass, loses on the pass line. This is kind of a funny example, but I'm just trying to show them what I'm thinking here. Now there's a 6. So we have a point of 6. Now, if you would put a pass line bet down, which is what they tell you to do, now put a pass line bet, and let's place some max odds on that because that's the way they're going to teach you. So we've got the point of 6 now. Now we need to play odds. We're not going to put max odds. We're just going to put $50. But just in this example, you've got a $50 bet in odds now, and they'll tell you this is the best bet to make. And I think that maybe that's the wrong approach. Maybe that's the best bet for the house to make, but maybe not the best bet for you. Now there's a 7, 2 rolls later, so we didn't hit the point. We got a 7 out, so the puck's going to be off, and they're going to go around the table, and they're going to collect all these bets, right? Everybody loses because, bummer, we didn't hit the point. That's how they teach you to play the game of craps. Now, you can add in other numbers, but in a general sense, they told you what the best way for you to lose your money on that pass line bet, because once you get a point, no matter which point you get, it could be a 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, doesn't matter which one's the point, the 7 is still going to beat you in terms of the likelihood that all of those numbers are going to roll. Now, what if instead they started by teaching you the exact opposite way? And I think it would go something like this. How do you play the game of craps? Well, here's an interesting way to play. Okay, here's the way that you do this. They always tell you, start with the pass line, learn the pass line. But what if they said instead, start with the don't pass? Now, here's the interesting thing about the don't pass. And this is, I'm a hypothetical teacher of the game of craps now. So think about it like this. You play a don't pass. Yes, it loses on the come out roll of 7 or 11, but it wins on a 2 or 3. It pushes on the 12. That's what that bar of the 12 means. So bar of the 12, that means a 12 doesn't lose or win. So you are at a disadvantage on the first roll, but that's the only roll that you are at a disadvantage on. Now, that sounds pretty good. Okay, I have to get past one roll, and then at that point, I'm at an advantage. Now, let's just try to get a point now again. We're going to look at this a different way. Okay, there's a point of 8. So remember, we're teaching the game of craps now from a different perspective. What if we taught it from the don't pass to help people understand how to get started? Now, I'm not saying always play the don't pass, never play the pass line. That's not my point. My point is that I think that we've been teaching it wrong to new players, because now the don't pass has to get past one roll, and then you're favored. Now, everybody dreads the point of 8 when it's a point on the don't pass, right? But I don't care. We're now at a point where you can say, now all you have to do is roll the bad number before you roll an 8. And there are 6 ways to roll a 7, which makes this a winner. And there are only 5 ways to roll an 8. Now, if you were to get a point of 10, for an example, if this was a point of 10 down here on the end, now you're at a 2-to-1 advantage the whole rest of the time. It doesn't matter whether there's 3 rolls or whether there's 30 rolls. You are at a 2-to-1 advantage when you play this bet instead. If you were playing the pass line, you'd be at a disadvantage of 2-to-1. Now the 7 is your friend at a ratio of 2-to-1. There are twice as many ways to roll a 7 and win as there are to roll a 10 and lose this pass line bet. So if you're teaching, again, from a teaching perspective, playing the don't pass means that the 7 is a winner. The point is, in this case, it's actually an 8. But if it was a 10, there are 3 ways to roll a 10, and there are 6 ways to roll a 7. So you're at a 2-to-1 advantage to win this bet. The rest of the entire time, no matter how many rolls there are, you are favored now. Now, if you were to tell a new person at the table that you can be favored on one roll, which is what happens on the pass line, or you can be favored on every roll except the first roll, which is what happens on the don't pass, which do you think that the new beginner craps person would be interested in? I propose to you that if you told them that was how the game works, do you want to be favored on one roll, or do you want to be favored on every roll except one? People will take this every time. But we teach them wrong. We teach them that the pass line is the way to learn the game. Now, I get. All right, you're going to say, well, but everybody else at the table, it's more fun when you're playing the pass line. You're playing along on the light side with everybody else. I get the fun factor. That's not my argument right now, okay? So let's set that aside. We're teaching a new person the fundamentals of the game. Again, I think when it comes to fundamentals of the game, I think playing or learning from the don't pass first might be a better strategy. So let's just say now we've rolled this 8. I put it back where it's supposed to go. This is a point of 8. Now we're favored just by one possible combination, but we're still favored. There's a 5. So now we're looking to roll a 7 and win. I understand if you're shooting, you don't want to roll a quick 7. I get all the points. There's a 7. All right? I understand the game. But I'm saying from teaching a new person, 7 out. So we rolled a few times again, and now we have won this don't pass bet. It's easy to understand for a beginner. You have to get past one roll, and then you're favored to win. So we just won. All right, we just collected, and now we're coming out again, new shooters. So I just think from a perspective of teaching the game to a new person, if you're looking at the possibility of teaching them what a pass line bet is and what a don't pass line bet is, the basic concept here is that on the pass line, you're favored on the come out with a 7 or 11. And then you're an underdog on the whole rest of the thing. It doesn't matter whether it's a 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Doesn't matter. Every number, you're an underdog. Every other roll beyond the first roll. So do you want to be favored for one roll? Or do you want to go on the pass line where you have to get past one roll and then you're favored the rest of the time? Now, both of them functionally have nearly the same house edge. If you're talking strictly about house edge, technically, functionally, they're very similar bets. And they will lose and they will win, and you have the come out to get past, certainly. I understand this. But my point is that if you're teaching a new person what this game is all about, it seems like we ought to be teaching the don't pass and how valuable it can be as a bet. There's a whole lot of things to do afterwards, and I appreciate people like Jacob from Wager Me This, one of my favorite YouTubers. I appreciate his perspective on knowing both sides of the dice. I think it's so valuable as a well-rounded dice player to understand both the light side and the dark side and to be able to use both. That's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about teaching a beginner the game, and I just feel like teaching them that you only have to get past one roll when you play it here, and then you're favored. If you look at the house edge being very similar and you don't go into all of the talk about streaks and, riding the hot, is it a hot table, cold table? Is it trending toward the pass line or the don't pass? To me, those are all advanced strategies for someone who understands the game. I'm talking about for a new player. I was at the casino the other day. This has been a couple of weeks ago now. And a drunk lady walked up beside me and she was... did not understand the game at all. And, I'm watching the dealers try to teach her. There's other players around trying to show her what to do. And it just seems to me like teaching the pass line as the starting strategy might be a bad approach. It's, yes, you're playing with the table, but if you're talking about simplicity of understanding the game, maybe the question should be, do you want to be favored for one roll here and then be an underdog? Or do you want to be an underdog for one roll and then be favored no matter which number gets rolled? There's a lot of other details that go into it, but I think that we might be teaching the game wrong to a new beginner. So anyway, just some of my thoughts as I was kicking things around a little bit. I thought this is something worth discussing. Maybe. I don't know. You tell me what you think. But anyway, let me just roll out a quick run through. I've got a $300 buy-in, and you can't really see it. I wonder if I can move that over a little bit. I've got 300, which is 12 green chips here. I'm just going to play at the green level because it's easy. And I'm going to play a straight up don't pass, all right? Straight up don't pass. We're just going to go here, and this happens. So you're an underdog for one roll, and that roll, of course, was a 7. So we're going to lose. And we're just going to come back out because I don't care how many shooters. I'm just playing straight up every roll. There's another 5-2. I don't know if you can see that in the corner. That's another 5-2-7. We're going to lose this. And this is why people don't like the don't pass. But my point stands. And we're just going to keep trying to get a point. There's a point of 10. That's a 4-6. So now we're going to be on the point of 10. We're just playing the pass line. I'm not playing anything else. This is teaching a new beginner how this concept works. And there's a 4-3-7. And we're going to get paid a quarter. So we just won, proving the point, although we lost 2 come out rolls. So I'm going to leave that don't pass there. We're just playing a straight up don't pass. Teaching a new beginner the game. There's another 7, 6-1. This happens sometimes. We're going to lose, and we're going to come back out with another don't pass. There's a 9. I forgot to take that off. We're going to go back to the 9 now. My apologies. There's a 9. So now the point is 9. So with a 9, we have 4 ways to roll a 9 versus 6 ways to roll a 7. So again, every one of these box numbers, we are now favored after the come out. We got past the come out. There's an 8. I don't know how much you can see up here in the corner. That's a 5, 3, 8. We're just really playing this game for the 7 or the 9. The 9 loses. There's a hard 8. All we're doing is learning as a noob, learning this game from what I believe might be a better angle. There's a 4, 3, 1, 4. And there's a 10, hard 10. So we're dancing around that 9, but so far, we've not hit it. And there's a 7. All right, a 3 and a 4. 4, 3, 7. So we're out. Puck is now off. And we have won our pass line. Simplest strategy. So we're gonna keep that pass line at a quarter. You can play a long time. This is a low house edge bet either way. Pass line, don't pass. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's similar. Okay, that's clear up here in a corner. That is a 5 and a 3. So we've got a point of 8. Now, again, people don't like playing that 8 as the point on the don't pass because there's 5 ways to roll an 8 and only 6 ways to roll a 7. So you're actually just slightly advantaged, but you are still advantaged. There's a 5, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5. Again, I'm just trying to show that I think for a new player, all right, that's clear over here. I'm sure you can't see that. That's a 4 and a 1, 5. Just trying to illustrate the point that I think for a new beginner, telling them that they can have an advantage on every roll except the come out is a better idea, easier for them to understand. There's a 8, so we lost. I'm going to lose the pass line, and we're going to come back out again with another don't pass. It's easier to explain. With this one, all you have to do is get past one roll, and then you're favored. Now, again, you want to teach them the etiquette of not being a bad player and hooting and hollering on the don't pass. That's a 5. So our new point is 5, 3, 2. Now we're playing the 4 ways to roll a 5 that make this bet lose versus 6 ways to roll a 7. So 4 ways to lose, 6 ways to win. And again, the simple strategy, there's a 7. So simple strategy of playing the pass line or the don't pass, I think. So it's 7 out. We're going to win a quarter here. Whoops. I think that it's better to teach from the don't pass. Easier to understand, easier for them to see why they should want to play because you've got only one roll to get past instead of every roll to get past except the bad number. So easier to win, my opinion, easier to win if you get past the come out roll on that bet. There's a hard 4. So we're going to be on the 4. Clear over here. I think you can see that on the, yeah, okay. So now the point is 4. Now there's only 3 ways to lose, 6 ways to win. You're at a 2-to-1 advantage. Who would not want that? That's my question. That's why I like the don't pass. I don't play it all the time. I like the light side. That's a 5. Again, just showing as a beginner, there's a 9. If you're teaching someone the fundamentals of the game, seems like teaching from the don't pass might be a better thought. You're favored on all the rolls except one. There's an 8, except the first roll. It's a big one. It's a big roll. But if you can get past it, you're doing all right. So there is a aces, snake eyes. There's a yo. See a horn, bet a horn. 6-5 yo. 8, 5 and a 3. Thing about this 4, the 4 and the 10, because there's only 3 ways to roll it, sometimes you sit here forever waiting for a decision. There's another 8, 5, 3, 8. It can take a while. There's a 10. Got the other side. 6 to 4. All right. Again, we're only playing two numbers. We're playing against the 4. 3 ways to roll a 4. There's a 4, 5, 9. And 6 ways to roll the bad number. You should not say at the table. There it is. But if you're playing by yourself, you want that 7 to come. And there it was. 5, 5, 2. So now we won. Now I'm going to show you this. So that is a winner. And I'm going to put my rack back together again. So you can see I started with 300 and I have 12 green chips. I am exactly even. I've had some losses on the come out. I've had some winners on the come out. I've hit some points. And it is a fairly safe play to just play the don't pass. So I don't know how long this video is going at this point. I'd say it's probably around 20 minutes or so. But let's go one more shooter. And just playing the don't pass, teaching the game to a new beginner. One roll that you had to come out past, I got a 10, so I made it past the come out. Now I'm favored 2 to 1. 6 ways to roll a 7, only 3 ways to roll a 10. And the nice thing about a 10, an 8, a 6, or a 4, of course, you can teach a beginner this, but this is a more advanced strategy. If I'm playing here against the 10, there's only 3 ways to roll a 10. I can actually bet the hard 10 and cover this, hedge it, so to speak, and then give myself only 2 ways to lose versus 6 ways to win. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just showing a basic strategy here. Everybody watching this video probably understands this. I'm just talking about how to teach a new person. I just think this might be a better way to do it. There's a yo 11. And there is a 5, 1, 6. Anybody who's played for a while, you understand the pass line and the don't pass. I just think for a new person, for someone who doesn't understand the game, just walks up to the table, this might be a better way to teach them. Would you like to have the opportunity to win on one roll and then be at a disadvantage? That was a 5. Or have the opportunity to lose on one roll, and then after that one roll, you're an advantage the rest of the time. There's an 8. I think we might be teaching the game wrong. There's a 9, that is a 3 over here, and clear up here is a 6, 6, 3, 9. 5, a 3, and a 2. I got some ideas for videos I've been kicking around. It's been a long time since I made a video. There's a 7, and 7 out is going to be a winner for us. It's a 4 and a 3, and we're going to win. And we were even before that roll, so now we're up a quarter. You can play this at any level. It's an easy strategy to just play the don't pass. But again, I think for someone who's new to the game, someone who's just learning, starting out, teaching them that you can lose on the come out, and then you're favored the rest of the roll unless you re-roll the point. If you consider the fact that both the pass line and the don't pass have a very similar house edge, you're picking a side anyway. If that's all you're doing and you're learning the game, why not teach them about the ability to play on the don't pass and be at an advantage every other roll except the come out? Who wouldn't want that? As you're teaching the game of craps, every new player would love to hear that you only have to get past one roll instead of only getting paid on, or having the one roll be at your advantage and then being at a disadvantage the rest of the time. So I'm not talking about any other strategies within it or playing odds or any of those kinds of things. I'm just talking about teaching a newbie how to play the game of craps. Seems like maybe you'd want to start with the don't pass. Anyway, I think that'll be it for now. Just, again, wanted to share some thoughts I was thinking about, and needed to make a video since I finally got some new equipment in here. So hopefully there will be more to come, and soon. Anyway, have a good one, and have some fun out there, all right?